So last night I was hanging out with Michael Jackson, Axl Rose, Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, and Mario. Mario game. Um, from that, you'll obviously realise I was at an 80s revival night, and it got me thinking that in kind of like the next 10 years or something, the 2000s is going to be a retro night. So, what'll happen is people will sit around listening to crap music, not actually speaking to each other. Conversations will just be put up on a massive projector screen in hashtags. And you'll have the little cliques, because you always do at discos and parties and things. You have the cool guys and girls kind of sitting at the center table, sneering at everyone else. You have the shameless, usually women, actually, on the dance floor, not caring what anyone thinks of them. And then you have the people like me who are deeply resentful that there are only four corners in the room and two of them are taken up by the DJ and his gear. So we actually have to be in close proximity to each other while we're standing in a corner on our own. Anyway, so that's your usual thing. At the 2000s retro nights, what you're going to have is, the cliques are going to be, have sort of the majority of people who are sitting there, popping their hashtags up on this projector screen at the back. And then you're going to have the social justice warriors that have got a megaphone, and they're going to be shouting about, privilege and entitlement and every kind of ism that you can ever get. Ableism. It's ableist because, what if somebody wasn't able to read the posters about the 2000s night, and so they weren't able to come even though they would have liked to, and it's racism. It's racist because there's mostly white people here, and oh god, some of them are dressed as black celebrities, and isn't that awful? And why aren't there more black people participating in this sad state of affairs without the understanding that most black people have probably got better things to do with their time? They're inventing apps, or they're running a business, or they're working a night shift at a hospital or something. And then you're going to have the Twitterati who are just pouring scorn on everybody all the time. And you have the Instagrammers that they're going to be standing in a little square, making sure that their drinks are artfully arranged. So that's going to be a 2000s retro night, and you're still going to have people, as you do with the 80s night, being convinced that the year 2000 was only about 5 years ago, in the same way as we're convinced that 1980 was only about 10 years ago. I grew up in the 80s. I was born in the late 80s, mid to late 80s. Grew up during the end of the 80s. Grew up mostly during the 90s, in fact, but very much like the music of the 80s. Problem is, it doesn't feel like it was nearly 30 years ago. It really, really doesn't. I'm convinced that 1980 was kind of like 10, 15 years ago at most. So there's a massive lot of time missing. I would say that's why I'm always late. Problem is, I'm never late. I'm usually early, and then finish what I'm meant to be doing early, or end up hating where I'm being because I've been there longer than everybody else. And so that was my night last night, and sort of lots of day glow and leg warmers, and I wasn't quite sure what I came as. It involved leather and an explosion in an eyeshadow factory and a scarf worn as a bandana. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for now.